Alright, what's up YouTube? Dylan here with Dylan's Home Espresso Bar, and today we are going to do yet another AeroPress coffee recipe. So if you guys haven't yet seen our last post yesterday, we actually did the 2019 winner of the AeroPress Championship, and that recipe included 30 grams of coffee. And it's so coarsely, as opposed to fineness, it was like a 7 out of 10. So pretty aggressiveness for coarse. So we went with a 40 on the niche. And that entailed 100 grams of water, hot water, at 197 degrees, I believe, in 10 seconds, with stirring very vigorously for 10 seconds. And then the total brew time when flipping that inverted method over into the cup, about 40 seconds. So whole brewing process was about a minute, and then we added 120 grams of hot water to dilute the coffee, and that's what we got our recipe. So that was the 2019 champion for the AeroPress recipe. Today we are going to be doing the 2018 and kind of comparing what I remember of the taste from yesterday. So this recipe involves 34.9 as opposed to 30 grams. And it is a 8 out of 10 out of coarseness. So we're going to go about a 42 on the niche today for grinding our coffee. So today we are using Good Brothers coffee just to keep it even and keep it the same. We are going to be using the same beans as we used yesterday, which is the El Salvador Carreo, honey process, red fruit, chocolate, and nutty flavor. So we are going to be using this as opposed of last time's recipe at 197 degrees. This recipe calls for 185 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's what we are going to use. And in case you guys don't know, that is 85 degrees Celsius. So it also recommended that we use chopsticks. So we went ahead and purchased some chopsticks for you guys just to make this recipe accurate. And we are not going to be using the AeroPress stir today. So this recipe also, the difference from the last week's recipe, or yesterday's recipe, it had 100 grams of water within 10 seconds. This is 100 grams of water in 30 seconds. And then we are stirring for another 30 seconds as opposed to yesterday where we stirred for 10 seconds. And then flipped it for 40-second brew time when we were plunging it. And this time it is a total of 30 seconds. So total brew time for this recipe is a minute and 30 seconds. Yesterday was a minute. Also, another key difference that I am going to point out between the 2019 recipe, like I stated earlier in the video, was 120 grams of water added at the end, and that was all the 197 degrees Fahrenheit. This one, to dilute the water, we have 40 grams of room temperature water. So this is 40 grams in here. And then it also calls for 60 grams of the 185 degrees Fahrenheit water. So kind of cool of a mix there, but we're just going to test it out, and I'm going to go ahead and get started here, and we're going to see the difference between the two different recipes and the two winners between 2018 and 2019. So,
hi guys.
First things first, we're going to start out, put your paper filter in, or metal filter. I'm using paper because surprisingly, the winner from 2017, 18, and 19 AeroPress Championships winners, they all use paper filters. So I'm going to stick with the paper filter, and we're just going to put it into the cup. So my wife's just going to bring you guys out here, and we're going to get started here. Got it?
Yep.
All right, so here we go. So if you guys can see here, we have this in here. Our kettle is set to 185 degrees. So we're just going to pre-wet that a little bit and let that soak for a second. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to lock this back into place at 185 degrees Fahrenheit. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, and we are going to go ahead and weigh out 34.9 grams. So like I said in here, if you can get close here, we went to 40 yesterday. We're going to go to 42. Since this is an 8 out of 10, yesterday was a 7 out of 10 for the aggressiveness of course. So we're going to stay there. All right. So we are using the niche 0 to keep it all fair in comparison here. And we are going to get 34.9 grams. So I want to stay pretty accurate here so we can really do that comparison. 34.9. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and grind 34.9 grams. So as you can see, that's pretty coarse. Almost done here. Still got a little bit left.
Justin said he likes the series of AeroPress recipes. Quite interesting.
Thank you so much. All right, so now we're going to take our little silicone cup here and we're just going to purge. So if you guys can see down here, it just adds a little bit extra.
Ooh, look at that.
So we're going to go ahead and tap it. So if you guys can see here, that is pretty coarse, but that's what we are looking for this. Back on here, 35. All right. So now we are going to take this back over here. Going to move our chopsticks. All right, so now we're just going to change our setting of our scale so we can get ready. All right, so I'm just going to add the grounds to the chamber here. Make sure to get all those grounds out.
Add it to the chamber.
All right. So we're just going to make sure that we get a nice even bed of grinds there. Even bed of ground. So now that that is fairly even, we are going to start our process. So we need to add 100 grams of 185 degrees Fahrenheit water and going to go a little bit slower. So as we start the timer, so we're just kind of blooming it more. So right now we're just pouring it in. We have to go for 30 seconds worth to get 100 grams. All right, so 100 grams. So now we are going to stir for 30 seconds here. So right now we're just stirring until we hit 1 minute.
Stirring it up.
Make sure all that coffee is mixed in there well. All right. So now we are going to take our paper filter. This has to go pretty quick here. We're gonna go till we purge all that air out. Till we start to get coffee there. All right, and now we are gonna purge until 1:30. So I'm a little slower on this one, but once you hear that hissing sound, you are done. So go ahead and pick that up. So now what we are going to do, I'm gonna clean this area really quick, and we are going to tear this here, and you guys can see at 0, we're gonna add our 40 grams of room temperature water. So there's our 40 grams. And then we're gonna add 60 grams of hot water at 185 degrees.
Now it's 185 degrees. Is it telling you on the thing?
Yep, so if you look at that, it says 185 degrees Fahrenheit.
Nice.
All right, so now to get an accurate result, we are just going to continue to stir. So as you guys can see, pretty clear as well. But yeah, there's a lot of weird recipes that come from this, but hey, who am I to judge when they're winners and I'm not? All right, so as you guys can see, that's a pretty clear cup of coffee there. Pretty excited. All right, so now we are just going to continue to stir. I like to stir this just to get back to temperature because they suggest that you don't drink until it's about 140 degrees Fahrenheit. But it cools down a lot better when you're swirling it, and it's obviously in an open container. So here we go. You guys can see the clarity of the pour here. All right. So there it is. And then I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a taste test here. I know it's a little too hot to get all the tasting notes. That's why I'm going to taste it now. Wait a second, and then I'll try it again for you guys. So cheers. You know what? I'm actually really impressed with this recipe, and I didn't really think that it would make a huge difference, but it's not hot at all. I mean, that's perfect temperature for drinking because we added that 40 grams of room temperature water. So that really, really cools it down, and I think that's, I don't know if that's, I mean, it must be good because they won that year for their recipe, but I almost wonder if that shocks the coffee going from an extremely hot 185 degrees to room temperature. I mean, it's really good, so.
Can I put this back on here somehow?
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to help my wife really quick. Hook this back up to the tripod.
Thanks.
As they see my big head. Does it look good?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So,
Much better.
definitely comparing these two recipes from 2018 to 2019, I'm just going to give it one more taste here just to give you guys a really accurate opinion of mine. So,
I'm going to try it.
I mean, that's delicious. So, it doesn't have that consistency. So, we have like strobe lights going on in the background. It doesn't have that consistency as tea, but it's not as strong as regular Americano. I mean, it really, really is clear. It's extremely smooth. It's not bitter or sour at all. I mean, if you truly, truly love the taste and want to get the real tasting notes of coffee, definitely recommend the AeroPress. She doesn't like black coffee at all,
No.
so she's not going to enjoy it. But definitely would recommend this recipe. This recipe is extremely good.
Better than the other one, though, I think.
It is.
I'd say this one's better.
So definitely
Kinda cut.
highly recommend this recipe. Again, I'm just going to go over the recipe one more time with you guys in case you guys might have missed it. So the recipe includes 34.9, that's 34.9 guys, 34.9 grams of really coarsely grinded beans. So an 8 out of 10, like I said, I'm not sure which grinder you guys have. I have the niche 0, but my niche might be different than your niche. I use grind setting 42. So we got that. It also included to pre-wet the paper filter, which most do. It gets rid of that paper tasting. I always do that in the beginning so that way it kind of sits there before I have to actually use it. 40 grams of room temperature water, 60 grams of 185 degrees Fahrenheit, 85 degrees Celsius water. And we are using the electric kettle. Everything you see here today is also going to be posted in the description below. So if you guys would like to purchase any of these items, I will make that linked for you guys as well. And then just to finish up the recipe, in 30 seconds you want to add, so you're going to dump your grinds into the canister. Within 30 seconds you want to add 100 grams of 185 degrees Fahrenheit water. You're going to do that. Once you hit that 30-second mark, you are going to then stir for an additional 30 seconds. So you're at a total time of a minute brew time right now. Once you hit that 1 minute, you are going to flip that inverted AeroPress over into the canister of choice, and you are going to continue to push down until 1 minute and 30 seconds. So whole brew time for this recipe is 1 minute and 30 seconds. Then you are going to continue to add 40 grams of room temperature water followed by 60 grams of 185 degrees Fahrenheit, again 85 degrees Celsius water, and you are going to get this recipe. One thing that I have absolutely loved about the AeroPress so far, this is my second time using the AeroPress and using the 2 winning recipes for the AeroPress Championship, is the fact that you can replicate this day in and day out and just keep getting that same consistency of coffee every single day. And it's so easy, as you guys saw. I mean, I finished this within a total of maybe 3 minutes total, and that's total. So if you guys want an amazing cup of coffee, really get that clarity of the bean, get those tasting notes in 3 minutes, the AeroPress is for you. So again, I thank you guys all so much for watching. My wife is going to see if there's any questions. If there's not any questions, we're going to jump onto Instagram, and we are going to be pulling a shot of coffee, a shot of espresso, and pulling some milk with the Linea Mini.
It wasn't a question, but Justin laughed and said the faces because I was making faces when I tried it. It just kind of caught me off guard, but I actually did like that one better than the other one. All
right, guys, so if you guys have continued to follow me through my journey, I thank you guys so much. If you guys are new to the channel and new to this video, and this is your first ever video, hi, my name is Dylan Licka with Dylan's Home Espresso Bar. If you guys would be so gracious to hit that like and subscribe button, I would totally appreciate it, and I can't wait to be meeting more people from the coffee community from around the world. So again, I thank you guys so much. We just hit 700 subscribers, 300 more to 1,000, and we're going to give that giveaway away. You know, it seems like forever away, but we're going to get there sooner than later, and I can't wait. So there's a couple questions coming in, so we're going to answer those really quick.
Justin said, what's the kettle? Are you liking it?
I absolutely love it. It's a Micron kettle from Amazon. It is about half the price of the Fellow staff kettle, which is at $149. This is about $90. Totally worth the money to spend on this. I don't think it is necessary to buy the really expensive one, but however, if that is in your budget, you definitely can. However, with me purchasing all these equipment, then I just kind of went with the cheaper one, and I am glad that I did. But again, it'll be posted in the link below.
Justin asked also, does the lunar scale fit under the niche if you take out the wooden platform, or does the metal screw get in the way?
The metal screw gets in the way. Now, I could probably customize a platform for that, and I may do that this summer.
All right. That's all the questions.
So thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to head over to Instagram, so make sure to follow me at dylan.licka on Instagram.
About 10 minutes.
In about 10 minutes. It's a little more behind the scenes, and I can't wait to see you guys there. And until next time, peace.
Peace.
And make sure to stay tuned for tomorrow's live, where we go over the 2017's AeroPress Championship recipe, and we compare that with 18 and 19. And until next time, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.